Livia Drusilla, 58 BCE, 29 CE. Livia Drusilla was a prominent Roman empress and the wife of Emperor Augustus, the first Roman emperor. She was born in 58 BCE into the prestigious Claudian family, one of Rome's leading noble houses. Livia became Augustus's wife in 38 BCE, and their marriage lasted until Augustus's death in 14 CE. Throughout her life, Livia wielded considerable influence behind the scenes in Roman politics, often acting as an advisor to her husband and later to her son, Tiberius, who became the second emperor of Rome. Although she never officially ruled, her political acumen and strategic alliances helped secure the succession of the Julio-Claudian dynasty. Livia was known for her intelligence, grace, and devotion to her family. She was also involved in several philanthropic projects, including the construction of public buildings. Despite being a pivotal figure in Roman imperial history, Livia's reputation has been somewhat overshadowed by the more notorious figures of her time, such as her son Tiberius, and her supposed involvement in various political intrigues. Cleopatra VII, Thea Philopator, 69 BCE, 30 BCE. The last pharaoh of Egypt. Cleopatra VII, Thea Philopator, often simply known as Cleopatra, was indeed the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic kingdom of Egypt. Born in 69 BCE, she was a descendant of Ptolemy Soter, a Macedonian Greek general under Alexander the Great, who founded the Ptolemaic dynasty after Alexander's death. Her reign, which ended with her death in 30 BCE, marked the close of the Hellenistic era and the beginning of Egypt's integration into the Roman Empire. Cleopatra is one of history's most iconic figures, known for her intelligence, political acumen, and legendary relationships with Julius Caesar and Mark Antony. She came to power at age 18, initially co-ruling with her younger brother, Ptolemy XIII, as was customary in the Ptolemaic tradition of sibling marriage to preserve royal bloodlines. However, their relationship soured, leading to a civil war. With Caesar's support after his arrival in Alexandria, in 48 BCE, Cleopatra emerged victorious, solidifying her rule. Lady of Elche, Dama de Elche, c. 4th century BCE. The Lady of Elche, or Dama de Elche, is a remarkable limestone bust from around the 4th century BCE, unearthed on August 4th, 1897, at La Alcudia, an archaeological site near Elche, Spain. Discovered by a young worker named Manuel Campello Esclapes during agricultural work, this iconic piece stands about 56 centimeters tall and depicts a woman with an elaborate headdress featuring large wheel-like coils called rodettes on either side of her face. Her attire includes a tunic, dress, and cloak, adorned with multiple necklaces, suggesting a figure of significance, possibly a priestess, goddess, or noblewoman. Widely regarded as a masterpiece of Iberian art, the sculpture shows strong Hellenistic influences, hinting at cultural exchanges in the Mediterranean world at the time. Scholars often link her to the Punic Iberian goddess Tanit, worshipped by the Carthaginians, due to stylistic parallels and the region's historical context. The hollowed-out back of the bust, containing traces of ash and bone, indicates it likely served as a funerary urn, a common practice in Iberian culture. Similar artifacts, like the Lady of Baza and Lady of Guardamar, share features such as the rodettes and necklaces, reinforcing her place within this artistic tradition. Queen Elizabeth I of England, 1533 to 1603. Queen Elizabeth I of England, reigning from 1558 to 1603, was indeed a towering figure in history, earning her nickname the Virgin Queen. due to her refusal to marry. A choice that fueled both her mystique and her political strategy. Born in 1533 to Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn, her early life was turbulent. Her mother's execution, when Elizabeth was just 2.5, left her declared illegitimate, only for her status to shift again as dynastic politics evolved. Ascending the throne at 25, after the death of her Catholic half-sister, Mary the Fun, Elizabeth inherited a fractured nation, religiously divided, financially strained, and vulnerable to foreign threats. Her reign, the Elizabethan era, became a golden age of sorts. She stabilized the economy, bolstered by ventures like Sir Francis Drake's circumnavigation and raids on Spanish treasure ships, which helped fund England's growth. The defeat of the Spanish Armada in 1588 stands as a defining moment, less a military masterstroke than a mix of English resilience, Spanish miscalculation, and favorable weather. But it cemented her image as a defiant protector of Protestant England against Catholic Europe. Domestically, she navigated the Protestant-Catholic divide with the Elizabethan religious settlement, a pragmatic compromise that established the Church of England's moderate Protestantism while avoiding all-out civil war. Jeanne Samary. Jeanne Samary was indeed a captivating figure in 19th century French theatre, celebrated for her beauty, charm, and talent on the stage of the Comédie Française. Born Léonie Pauline, Jeanne Samary on March 4th, 1857, in Neuilly-sur-Seine. She came from a family steeped in the arts. Her father was a cellist at the Paris Opera, and her maternal grandmother and aunts were actresses, including 2 who were also tied to the Comédie Française. This lineage set the stage for her own career. At just 14, Jeanne enrolled in the Paris Conservatoire, where her natural flair for comedy shone through. In 1874, at 18, she claimed the first prize in comedy and made her debut at the Comédie Française that Auguste, playing Dorine in Molière's Tartuffe. Her performance was a hit, and by 1878, she'd risen to the rank of sociétaire, a full member of the troupe. She became the go-to actress for Molière's lively servant roles. Think Marinette, Toinette, or Lisette, bringing a sharp wit, infectious laugh, and vibrant energy that critics dubbed her the ideal soubrette. Beyond Molière, she tackled parts in plays by Renard, Marivaux, and Edouard Pailleron, proving her versatility while staying true to her comedic roots. Marie Antoinette, the last queen of France before the Revolution. Marie Antoinette, born Maria Antonia, Josefa Johanna on November 2nd, 1755, in Vienna, was the last queen of France before the French Revolution swept away the monarchy. The 15th child of Empress Maria Theresa of Austria and Holy Roman Emperor Francis I. She was thrust into the spotlight at 14 when she married the future Louis XVI in 1770. A union meant to cement an alliance between Austria and France. Arriving at Versailles, she traded her Austrian roots for a French identity, but she never fully shook the label of l'Autrichienne, the Austrian woman, in the eyes of a skeptical court and public. Her early years as queen, after Louis XVI's ascension in 1774, were marked by extravagance and naivete. At 18, she was a fashion icon, favoring sky-high poof hairstyles and lavish gowns, often designed by her stylist, Rose Bertin. Her retreat to the Petit Trianon, a private haven gifted by Louis, and her faux rustic hamlet fueled tales of excess, like the infamous and false "let them eat cake" quip, while France's treasury groaned under war debts and poor harvests. Childless until 1778, When her daughter Marie-Thérèse was born, she faced whispers of infidelity and pressure to secure the Bourbon line, eventually bearing 4 children, 2 of whom survived infancy. Queen Elizabeth I of England, the Virgin Queen. Queen Elizabeth I of England, reigning from 1558 to 1603, was a force of nature whose rule, the Elizabethan era, left an indelible mark on history. Born in 1533 to Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn, her path to the throne was anything but smooth. Her mother's execution when Elizabeth was 2 branded her a bastard in the eyes of the court, and her half-sister Mary the Virne's turbulent reign saw her briefly imprisoned in the Tower of London. Yet at 25, she ascended after Mary's death, inheriting a kingdom split by religion, broke from war, and dwarfed by powers like Spain and France. Elizabeth turned those odds around with a mix of grit, brains, and theatrical flair. She dodged marriage, earning the Virgin Queen title, spinning courtship into a diplomatic game with suitors from across Europe, all while keeping her autonomy intact. Her 1588 triumph over the Spanish Armada, aided by storms and English pluck, was a propaganda coup, painting her as England's savior. At home, she patched up religious rifts with the 1559 Elizabethan settlement, threading a needle between Catholic and Protestant extremes to avoid all-out chaos.